This presentation, titled Effective Internal Auditing for Food Safety, comes to us from Salendra Kumar. Salendra has more than 22 years of experience within quality assurance and food safety. He is an Exemplar Global Certified Principal Food Safety Auditor and an SQF practitioner. Salendra is also a consultant and trainer specializing in quality assurance systems, GMP training, HACCP audits, internal audits, external audits, food safety training, SQF, HACCP documentation, document review, food safety system validation, verification programs, micro-validation, and schedule. And with that, take it away, Salendra.
Thank you, Mike. We'll be talking about the effective internal auditing for food safety. This is a very simple topic I've chosen just to talk with you guys and share some information about these internal auditing systems for the food industries. So here we go. What is an internal audit? As we know, all the food industries have their internal audit systems. There will be external audit. So internal audit plays a major part here. It's a way of verifying and reviewing our food safety system, our standards, our processes and procedures, just to see whether our system is running effectively or not. So if there is any loophole, any gaps, internal audit will capture these things. Let's see how the internal audit works and what is the purpose of it. The purpose of the internal audit is to provide an objective source of information regarding the way your business is running, as I mentioned. So in terms of controls, operating effectiveness, compliance, in reference with the standards. So as we're discussing about this internal audit system effectiveness, how we can make this internal audit very effective, we have classified them into the 4 sections. So first section talks about the schedule and planning. Second section talks about the conducting the actual audit, or we can say a factory work or a facility work. And the third one is about reporting your findings and reviewing it and benchmarking it with the other sources or the standard of what your findings are against that. And then finally, the 4th section is to follow up and monitor your corrective actions, whatever we have implemented this into the system. So let's look at these 4 sections as we are talking. The first sections of the internal audit system is about scheduling and planning. Okay, this is one of the most important process of this internal audit, where the team will define the scope and the objectives and review the guidelines relevant to the audit. For example, there will be a customer requirement, there will be a regulations controls, there will be an industry standard, there will be a company policies and procedures. There will be a previous audit report which we can reflect in this and align with the coming audit. We can also set up a timeline to do this audit. We can create an audit plan that needs to be executed on the line, and also we can identify the process to be involved and also how we are going to communicate to everyone concerned. So at this planning stage, we need to communicate to everyone on the production floor, senior management team, production team about this upcoming audit. So as we prepare, we need to look at all the customer requirements, the standards, all the regulations that we have said in the beginning, that this must be incorporated into our planning stage. Then only we can pick up the right questions or right objectives that needs to be reflected on the floor. So when we go there on the floor to look at the things or verify the things, these are the most important things that we need to look into when we go on the floor just to audit. Okay, the second most important part is the conducting the actual audit. How are we going to do the actual audit? Okay, this is the most important and critical thing, where we go as internal auditors, or we can combine and have the management team working with you as well, or we can have the operators coming with you as well, or the production managers. So this factory work is an actual act of auditing where you accomplish by a walk through the factory and also engaging with the staff and checking the records as you walk to see the effectiveness of the system. So what talks about here is basically when you are going on the floor, talk to the operators, what their understanding is of the system, what system you are referring to, what reference standards you are using, and your objective evidence will be like right in front of you. How they are processing, what is the SOP says, what are the procedures for doing the check says, what is your QCPs, what are your CCPs on the processing flow. So these things are basically important to see right there on the floor as you are working with the operators. So operators will be in a position to explain you how the system is working, how the process is happening. So basically, in short, when you conduct the audit, make sure you are looking at all aspects of the thing. For example, your building structure, people movement, cleaning and sanitation, personal hygiene, all of these things, plus all the record keeping things needs to be reviewed as we are working. Throughout the work, you'll be finding lots of objective evidence, lots of records, lots of things you will see, lots of information you will get from the people, and how you are going to make into a report. So let's combine all the important points that you have found on the work, jot it down in terms of your objective evidence, record them on your report sheet, and make sure that these things are reported in your reportings. So reporting means it's a documentation that the findings of the audit outcome in the form of objective. It should be written clearly so that it encourages the intended audience to actually read and understand. So whatever your findings are needs to be clearly relayed to the site managers, production team, production operators, that okay, this is the loophole, this is the issues we have found while we are on the process flow, and these are our recommendations based on those findings, and these are the actions that you could put into place to get these things fixed. So most of the findings will be in terms of photographic evidence, personal feedback, whatever you will getting from the operators, and also the objective evidence in terms of a record. You can also take a copy of the records, for example, metal detection, CCP records, or a QCP checks of any raw material coming in. If it's not a CCP, it can be a QCP. Any checks that you do, those things will be your reports for the report writing process that needs to be submitted to these site managers or a site team. And again, as soon as most of these things will be definitely picked up, how you are going to convince the management to this information that you are going to implement as a corrective action will definitely work in favor of those findings. So what you can do the root cause analysis of those findings on using 5 whys, why actually those things were out of spec, why those things were deviated from the system, why those things were not actually in place, whether there was some issues. So as we speak about the root cause analysis here, what are the sources that are providing to that root cause issues? So root cause analysis in simple terms can be simplified in terms of a fishbone method. So that's where you can find the causes and the effects of that. For example, if you are producing a product and if that product goes underweight, actually that cannot go to the market. So let's find out what is causing that product to be underweight and how you're going to make the product or realign the product to come into that full spec, and then it can be released to the market. So again, root cause analysis for all the findings needs to be done so that everything can be accounted for and everybody is taken into spec of what the failure was. So once you use the 5 whys, and finally, how you're going to execute that intended solution that you have sourced to be implemented into the line so that everything can be fixed. And finally, once you have done all your corrective actions for the non-conforming issues, let's go back and follow up. This is one of the most important exercise that needs to be followed up so that you know whether your input as a corrective action, whether it is actually running effectively or not. So what it means here, like you need to go back to the same place and verify that your input, whatever your recommendations were, whatever your implemented actions where against those non-conformers are effectively working or not. Make sure that you schedule a follow-up and check those things as an improvement. All right. Checks for changes made and review as a feedback. So also you can talk to the operators when you are on the floor and make sure that your intended corrective actions are effectively running. And again, during this follow-up, if any of these things are not basically following up, we need to take it up again and escalate it to the next level. All right. As we say, once it is completed, share the details with the site managers, site management team, all your production team, that these are our findings and this is our corrective actions. This is the intended corrective action we are trying to put in through the root cause analysis, and make sure that site management or the senior team leaders acknowledge that report and accept whatever your input in to the non-conformance findings are. All right, so that was basically a small, brief explanation or discussion about the effectiveness of internal auditing for food safety system. And I hope you people must have got a little bit of a fair idea of how we are doing this effective internal auditing for any food industries. Please use whatever you can. And thank you for watching.
Well, thank you, Salendra Kumar, for that look at internal auditing protocols within the food safety sector. And that concludes this presentation.